let's talk about CTAs or call to action. Um, Essentially, it's just how you're going to be able to get someone from uh, just talking about something and actually taking an action. Because nothing happens until you take an action. You can give value, you can can try to convince someone, but until someone takes action, nothing really happens. And so, we want to get people to open our emails, but we also want them to click, which is, a good call to action is going to do that. So, depending upon what you're doing, there's different CTAs involved with that. So, of course, if you're selling something, you want them to click on it, so they can learn more about your product or service, and then eventually buy. So, what is a good CTA? First of all, is you want to be very clear. A lot of times, people are, if you make it too subtle, then then people won't know what it is. It's got to be clear. It's got to be direct. If you've already given value, you've given the value. Now, do a CTA, whether it's a link, you can put a button in your email, whatever it is. It just, hey, click here to get this now. That's as easy it is. Learn more about this, click here, type of thing. And that's really all it is. It's very direct and specific. And so you want to make sure that you are doing that. The other thing is to have just one CTA. So a lot of times when people are writing emails, they have like multitudes. You could do it every once in a while. Sometimes people have like multiple things that they're selling and in one email, but that's part of their program. So I know some people are affiliate marketers and they have like a whole list of different articles on different things, and they have a different affiliate links for each of them. You can do that. I wouldn't advise though, especially if you have a very specific goal in mind, because it confuses people. The more options you give to people, the more likely they are to do nothing. And so having a one CTA, you could have the same link multiple times if you wanted to, if it's a really long email. But for the most part, if you have one link, one call to action, it's really straightforward. You give the right amount of content with your emails, so you get enough information to be curious to then want to learn more. So that's really what you want to do with that. So that's why you want to be very focused on it and only use it once, unless you really have to do it. And of course, action and language is like download now, get started, claim your offer, get instant access now, or yes, I want instant access now. Those are all like action type of things because you want them to take action now. And ideally that's what most people are going to do, is they get in your email, they read it, and then they click the button and they go on to the next step, whatever that next step it is. So make sure you're using something action oriented, very direct, very active language versus passive language. And that's what's going to get you the most clicks. And it doesn't have to be over the top or anything like really complex. So a lot of times people make it complex, or they try to make it really over the top. And those two things really aren't going to help you at all. Those are things that are, if you wanted to put more information in it, you can put it into the email itself, but make it simple and easy to go forward. Otherwise, it just makes it too hard and too complicated. A lot of times everybody overcomplicates this stuff, and that's where everybody gets in trouble, is they just make it overcomplicated, and you spend all your time being trying to be witty and interesting, and it just becomes nothing like it. So and then you want it to stand out visually. So either it's bold, you can make it contrasting colors, so everybody knows blue for a link, so you can make it blue. You can make a button out of it using different colors for that. You can definitely do that. So you want to create something that is going to stand out from the page, so they know it's a link, or they know it's a button. That's something that they should or consider clicking on right away. So you definitely want to do that. And then give a some sort of urgency to it. If it's a limited offer, there's only 5 spots available. Don't create something that is not true. Okay, so that's the other thing, is if it's not true, don't put it in there. Say if there's only 5 spots remaining, and you're giving it to everybody, then most likely that's not right. And so you're going to put urgency in something, do something about it. You can tell them, like, this is the last time I'm going to talk about this. If it's the last time you're going to talk about it, it can still be open. But if it's the last time you're going to talk about it in this email sequence, for example, then that's a good urgency as well. Or, this will be the last email you hear from me for a long time about this offer. So here it is. You want people to feel like they're going to miss out on something if they don't click right away, but don't make it to a point where you're lying about anything. So those are different things to keep in mind. So you can create urgency without having an urgent offer necessarily. And I like more evergreen offers. Some people do launches all the time and they keep launching the same product. You can do it that way, so the cart opens and closes, or you can do like, hey, it's the last time we're going to talk about this, and then you bring it up later, and then the email sequence has the same thing. That is perfectly valid as well. You're giving urgency to the fact that you're not going to talk about it anymore, or that the problem won't be solved, whatever you're solving, to do that. So, for example, I'm going to be I don't use much FOMO in my Marketopia, but it is a 20 point checklist that's going to help you in your marketing. Now, if you don't get it right away, obviously you won't be able to implement those, so your marketing won't improve as it would if you got that. So that is some urgency to it. Whereas, it's not going to close. I'm not planning on bringing it down. I could change it, obviously, but for the most part, I want you to get the information now so you can improve your marketing so that you can then have greater success. So that's the thing I have for my checklist, what I do for FOMO. But for you, it could be anything different. And if you do want to open and shut the cart, then definitely do that. Then you can have a countdown timer in your email. Those work really, really well. But you have to make sure it's right and you're actually going to close it. Because if someone comes afterwards and sees it, then it's like, well, you're not really telling the truth. And then all of a sudden, the next thing comes around, and then they know, well, that guy's just saying whatever he has to get a click. That's not what you want. So you're looking for long-term customers here as well. So think about the long game of how you're going to do it. It may benefit you in the short term, but in the long term, it's not. So hopefully that's been helpful, and hopefully that you can hone in your CTAs for your emails, and talk to you next time.